Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a short video just to bring you one or two updates and make a couple of announcements. So I shall endeavour to keep this brief. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody has been getting through the first part of the week, in one piece, in more ways than one. I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for asking. I'm doing okay. It's been quite a busy few days. For positive reasons, although I have had one or two little setbacks along the way, but nothing that can't be dealt with and brought about to yield a better outcome a bit further down the line. I just have to be patient and play the long game, but I'm not going to divulge here on that topic right now because it's not the place to do so. Anyway, right, so first of all, starting off, I'll start on an absolute positive. We had the Flat Earth Social last night at the Pavilion Arms in Bournemouth at 7 p.m. And it was, needless to say, an absolute blast. One thing I have to say about this, and it might sound all a bit generic when I do a video after a meetup or I post things on Facebook saying it was awesome, it was great, it was this, it was that, right? I'm not just waxing lyrical over something and banding words around and superlatives. I really do mean it when I say that when I go in, I don't know about anybody else that's been there, but when I go there, I feel very much, almost immediately, at ease. There is a certain, dare I use the word, vibe, that exists there, and I think it's just the fact that most people do drop their guard. They're more relaxed with each other. There isn't too much there's no finger pointing going on, actually. I don't know why I'm saying too much. There isn't any. Everybody's open to listen to all topics. All topics are on the table. Nothing is off the table. Nothing is forbidden in terms of talking about topics. Of course, it's forbidden to maybe, let's say, set the hotel on fire. That wouldn't be a good thing to do and highly illegal. But you can talk about things as freely as you like, and people are not going to go, "What, you think like that?" Which is always the response. So there's two ways you deal with that. Either you go into your shell and you don't address it anymore, or you spend your time with people where you can talk about those topics, and it does enable you then to gain a handle on certain topics and enable you to digest topics and have the penny drop correctly and all those sorts of words, you know what I mean? You've also got a huge process going on in terms of unlearning loads of stuff as well, right? So there's a two-way thing going on there. But and these conversations you have all the time at this social event, regardless of who the speaker is, which is always a highlight as well. But that's the good thing about it. Right, so you come in, there are people there, stand around, they chat, they chinwag, they hang out a little bit with each other and all the rest of it. Then we would have normally our guest speaker, which would be roughly an hour and a half, with some Q&A afterwards. And then when that's all done and dusted, we all then mingle and talk and chat until the hoteliers basically kick us out, which they do every time. Every time they have to ask us to leave. That's how time flies. To be fair, they don't remain open that late. I think we're out there by 10. Although there was one evening when we were still in a car park at 2 in the morning. That was a meetup or two ago. Martin Liebke was down for that one. And so was Trinity 4. But yeah, that was a good one. But that was, again, a great vibe. Yesterday was brilliant. And the good thing about yesterday was that it was a nice flat earth globe lie presentation. Very good, simple points made, simply explained, easy to understand. The question then becomes, once you understand it, and it's not difficult to understand, the question then becomes, how do you reconcile it with your indoctrination? How do you come to terms with that? Are you willing to be more open-minded and say, well, you know what, I'll start trusting my observations more than I will some textbook or some peer-reviewed scientist paid handsomely by the BBC to give a certain type of speech in front of the camera, or to ask another person from the scientific community a particular question for our benefit, for our consumption, or just to feed mainstream. But anyway, so what is going to be happening is that I'm jumping back and forth a little bit because there's a couple of things going through my mind at the moment. I haven't made any notes either, even though I'm armed with a pen. Don't know what I'm going to write on the wall, maybe. What we're going to do is we're going to do we're going to do every fortnight, sorry. So 2 weekly, fortnightly. We're going to now have these Flat Earth socials. And what we're going to hopefully do there, the idea is to have one where there's the main speaker, as I was just alluding to, where you have your chats before and after, with the group that is. And also what I was hoping for was in between those 4 weekly meetups, have a meetup where we just gather as a group, where we get a chance to interact with each other and Q&A each other and talk to each other about ideas and initiatives and where are you at with this, what's your feelings on that, etc., etc., etc. Because I do have a couple of ideas moving forward, and I'm sure a few other people do as well. In fact, I know a few other people do as well. And of course, that sort of environment is a perfect one to, discuss things and brainstorm and all the rest of it. And at the same time, enjoy each other's company, which is the bit that I get from it, It's the fun factor. It's the enjoyment factor. It's all around an excellent thing. I'm so glad we do it. And everybody I talk to says the same. Everybody, without fail. Not one person's complained. The only complaints I've had is that it's only once a month. And that's the truth. So that is going to go ahead from January. From January, we're going to have a fortnightly Flat Earth social at the Pavilion Arms in Bournemouth. Same kickoff time, 7 p.m. And then we'll just take it from there. In the meantime, we're just going to continue having them monthly. Well, there's only 2 more left, isn't it, to the end of the year? The next one will be Tuesday, the 28th of November, 7 p.m. Pavilion Arms, as usual. I'll be doing a presentation this time round. I don't even really know what to call it. In fact, I'm not even too sure how to start it, to be honest with you. I've got lots of ideas and I know where I'm going to go with it, but I'll be talking about the historical timeline and the significance of the Industrial Revolution, not only in terms of what it allowed us to do building-wise, allegedly, but also how it's used as an excuse, the Industrial Revolution, to explain certain advancements in technologies, how you would have needed that equipment that allegedly came out only in the Industrial Revolution period, the 1800s, way before, if you wanted to have built a lot of the constructions that we come across, etc., etc., etc. So that's the kind of thing I'm going to be talking about a little bit, questioning the historical narrative, which then, for me personally, brings me to a conclusion that not everybody likes, but it depends how dogmatic you are around certain topics. But if you really give it some thought, actually, I just go where the evidence takes me, really. But that's on the 28th. So I've never done one before in a meetup scenario, so that would be new for me to actually do a presentation. I don't have one ready. I've done lots of talking about Flat Earth related topics and stuff like that on the streets with people and in other sort of environments, but never a PowerPoint-esque presentation on these sorts of topics that I love so much. That's the thing. I'm so enthusiastic about it all the time, and that's the thing about it. There's obviously something there that's just striking a chord with me, and will do, it appears, forevermore. And like I say, they're the sort of sentiments I hear from others in that group. The ones that are saying to me, only once a month, come on, we need to pick this up a bit. So there we go. Long story, quite long, but still shorter than its original form. From January to a month, fortnightly. And on the 20th of November, I'll be doing a little talk for about an hour or something like that. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Another thing I was going to mention was, what was I going to mention? Yes, I want to shortly do a field trip. It was mentioned again yesterday at the Flat Earth Social. I would like to do a field trip with a few people. And get that arranged. And if anybody, the reason why I'm saying it here in this video, I don't have to, I could have done it in a group message or something, but the reason why I'm saying it is if anybody is genuinely intrigued or interested in doing like a day somewhere, to a building, to a construction, to an area, whatever, that we could spend, some time, do a video there, talk about the construction and take a closer look at it, and all the rest of it. Look at those telltale signs that we mentioned in the videos. The subterranean aspect of it all and all that sort of stuff. Then please do get in touch. Please get in contact. And if you're in the group already, then you're already kind of right there. But yeah, because I'm eager to go out. Doesn't matter whether winter or summer. It doesn't have to be summer. You wrap up warm, you go out, and when it's cold, I'm not bothered about that. But there is so much to see, and I think there's far too much material almost to keep up with it. But I want to kind of get some videos out with some regularity, because it's so astounding how much of it there is. And there are plenty of people who have looked at this stuff before me and still are, but until you start looking at it yourself, then of course you realize yourself and you stumble across more yourself. And that's what's been happening to me. And thankfully I've found a few other people who are just as enthusiastic about it as I am. So, but yeah, that would be my next step, would be to try and arrange a field trip or two and get some people together and take a look at that, those who are interested. I think personally that the Tartarian hidden history, old world kind of stuff is our most tangible proof or evidence of lies that we have. That's why it fascinates me so much. It puts so many things on its head. It really does. What we've been told, that is. Anyway, so I thought I would just mention that. That's something I would look forward to doing. Absolutely. Another thing I was going to mention briefly was that I do also have an idea or two that is not related to the Flat Earth Social or any meetup like that, but I am beginning to explore the idea of looking at somewhere to perhaps set up for us to then access ourselves, to be used as a regular premises during the week, but then to also use for particular events for the like-minded I was talking of earlier, in the form of a cafe or something similar to that. So that's also an option that I'm going to be exploring very soon as well, to see if we can eventually get a venue that's always there. Not that we wouldn't meet elsewhere, but I'm saying just from my perspective, it's something I've always wanted to do, is have like a base camp, if you like. Not a headquarters or anything like that. That's all nonsense. It would be a normal place. It wouldn't be called the Flat Earth Cafe or anything like that. Let's not, overdo it in terms of in your face. There's a way of going about it. I understand that people feel awkward around the topic because there's plenty of stigma attached to it. The media have done a great job. They've done a great job, and everybody has obliged, as usual, right? So it would be more delicate, more subtle, but I've always wanted to do something like that. And now that I have a theme that I can back that up with, and I would have people of like mind who would, I'm sure, support me in it, then why not? So that's something that I'm definitely going to look at more closely. And again, if there are any ideas or there's anything somebody might want to maybe bring my way that I certainly won't know about, I don't even really know where to look first on that one, then please do get in touch, and I'm all for some ideas, because at the end of the day it would be for a lot of us anyway. Well, those who can of course make it geographically. If you're living in Australia, might be a bit of a problem. Mind you, if you're living 20 miles down the road here in England, it could be a problem with the train services and the transport systems that we have. But then again, we invented them, didn't we? Apparently, allegedly, according to the history books. No, we didn't. Anyway, so I think this stuff was already around, and that will be part of what I'll be discussing on my presentation. I think a lot of this technology was already around. We already know that we had tram lines in the 1850s. Then they went from trams to trolley buses, and then from trolley buses to petrol-powered buses. That's what we have now. And guess what? We're flipping back to electric, but only this time it's all beamed through the airwaves. Anyway, right. So I thought I would just bring that to you. Just going to check the clock quickly. 15 minutes, that's more than enough. So there were my couple of announcements, really. I waffled on a little bit there, here or there. I always do. Just the way I am. Can't help it. Sorry about that. Oh, no, I'm not actually. And it's also my excitement around the topics, to be honest with you. I always do get excited about these topics. It's like when I go in the practice room, play music with my friends as well. Same thing. I'm like a little boy. Can't shut up. That's just me. Can't help it. Well, I could help it, but I don't really want to. I'm childish like that. So on that youthful note, I'll like to say then have a good rest of your week, all of yous. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out a video in the next couple of days just to have a little follow-up on what's happened to these so-called BT cabinets, they call them, because they are brand new. They've only just been rolled out right now as we talk, according to the engineer who told me this last week. So, and if you could also have a look in your area what they're putting up there, I guarantee they are putting stuff up somewhere, either on lampposts or in the form of tall 5G towers, or what we call 5G towers. And then also this stuff, this equipment, hotspot type equipment that's dotted around all your high streets now, or it looks like that's going to happen. Plus, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a huge increase in roadworks again as well. What does it all mean? Don't know, but clearly there's an enhancement going on. All right, but anyway, on this note this time, I hope you all fare well for the rest of the week. Take good care of yourselves and all the rest of it. Those of you living in the part of the country that I am, with the weather the way it's been, be careful. It was really windy last night, like really, really windy. Just make sure that nothing flies off the roofs and whacks you on the head or anything like that. Stay indoors. Don't go out if you don't have to. And even if you need to get the shopping in, bloody order it in then. You know, but wouldn't risk it in that weather. Certainly not in the Bournemouth area where I am today, last night and this morning, or even just now. It's still quite windy out as well. But yeah, I can imagine being in a boat out in the water in that, eh? Anyway, alrighty. Thank you for looking in. As always much, much, much appreciated. And on that positive note, as always, I hope to see all of yous very soon. Some of yous much, much, much sooner. Until then, take it all easy. The others behind me all say hi. Larry's decided to sit right at the back of the kitchen this time. He wanted a longer view. He wanted to test his angular resolution skills, you know. So that's what he's doing. The others are just still pondering that globe. Something not quite right with it, according to them. Don't know. Could be. Might be worth researching. Till then, take it easy and ta-ta for now.